Brandon Land here from runnersfeed.com with yet another episode of Runners Feed Live. I'm here with 2:16 marathoner, two-time Olympic trials qualifier, author, entrepreneur. What else do you want? Sage Canaday, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Cool. So first things first, I want to talk about that recent 2:16 in San Diego. Maybe start to finish, tell us what it was like.
Well, it was a nice day. San Diego's not too humid, so that always helps. But it was in June, so the sun did come out. It did get in the high 60s, so a little warmer than ideal. So what I did was I started off pretty conservatively. There's a lot of downhills in the first 10K on the course, so I didn't run them too much faster, and I dunked a lot of water on my head. But I was out through the halfway in about 107.45, which is a little bit faster pace than what I averaged, but honestly I was all by myself, so it was kind of hard. I had a teammate that was about a minute ahead of me at that point, and then looking back, there was probably some people about a minute and a half behind me, so really kind of a solo effort, but that's okay because I'm kind of used to just pacing myself, so it requires a lot of discipline, but I just kind of tried to run as even splits as I could, and it was a personal best for me, so can't complain.
I know you're not training on your own. You're with the Hansons-Brooks Marathon Project in Michigan. So maybe just tell us a little bit about what that is for our viewers that don't know.
Yeah, the Hansons-Brooks Distance Project is what it's called. It started in 1999 by two brothers from the Detroit area, and they wanted to start a post-collegiate training group that would allow promising athletes, to kind of train for the Olympic trials and try to make a dent on the world scene in distance running. So they got two houses originally, and they give the athletes free rent, some health care, and then a lot of us work part-time in their running store selling shoes. And then 2003, Brooks Sports came along and came in as a major sponsor. So now we get a lot of shoes and gear from Brooks, travel support, and we kind of go and train for different marathon races. It's mainly a marathon training program now. So our most recent best performance would be Desiree Davila, who got second at the Boston Marathon this year. So we've also had an Olympian in Brian Sell, who just left the program. He was one of my teammates. He made the Beijing Olympics in the marathon. So it's a good group training type of deal.
Amazing. So maybe let's plug that major sponsor there and see, in terms of Brooks, what's your favorite shoe to wear?
Brooks, there's lots of great shoes, but hands down, my favorite shoe is the racing shoe, which I got actually right here. It's called the Brooks Green Silence, and it's a nice lightweight shoe, pretty flexible. It's 6.9 ounces, and it's made out of mostly recycled materials, so it's a good sustainable design, which I also like. I think the heel counter has some recycled CDs in it, and it's just a real great shoe. I ran my half marathon PR, 104.32 wearing these, and then also I ran the San Diego Marathon wearing these. So they held up for that. It's a real comfortable shoe. We also have the T7 is a good shoe, but this one right here is my personal favorite. So.
Well, you guys heard it there first, and Brooks, maybe if you're looking for a model for your next commercial, Sage did a pretty good job there. So, so moving on, you talked about Brian Sell, and is he sort of a legend now that he's retired?
He is to a lot of people. I know when I was growing up, because I'm quite a bit younger than he is. So I was in high school in 2003, 2004, and I remember looking on the internet back then and learning about the Hansons program, but also seeing Brian Sell, his favorite, trying to make the Olympic team. 2004, he didn't quite make it, but he led most of the trials race, and he was wearing this flashy singlet, and I was like, who was this guy? And then his reputation kind of grew from there. They call him the blue-collar runner a lot. He's this guy from backwoods Pennsylvania, 10:06 2-miler in high school. Usually those kind of guys you wouldn't think would make the Olympic team, but joined Hansons, and eventually after 8 years he was able to run a 2:10 marathon and make the U.S. Olympic team. So it's a good success story.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe I know we want to get into obviously talking about the book and a few other things, but you're an entrepreneur, which is kind of cool for somebody who's running 216. So I know you got the VO2 Max production. So maybe give us a little bit overview on that, and then we'll move into the book.
Yeah, definitely. Originally, I started VO2 Max Productions LLC in 2010. I just make a lot of videos, and it's kind of just a creative outlet for me. But eventually, I realized I could launch it as a publishing company because I wrote a book over the first course of my year in Hanson's about what it's like running in the group. So I needed a publisher. I'll self-publish it through VO2 Max Productions. I did all the legal paperwork, so that's kind of where it stands now. It's a good platform for marketing my book and other videos about running. So
Definitely modern Renaissance man right here. So let's talk about the book. So running for the Hansons is what it's called. First off, beautiful. And where can people pick that up? Let's start there.
It's available on Amazon.com. There's a Kindle ebook version available and also a paperback version there. Or if people want a signed copy or dedicated copy, they could order it directly from my website, vo2maxproductions.com.
Cool. We'll have all the links there. So what inspired you to write this book, I guess?
I mean, it was mainly joining the Hansons. I felt like I had this kind of insider perspective. There really aren't that many books out there about the team aspect of running, kind of the group training thing. So I felt like I was kind of almost obligated to kind of share the story. I wanted to, obviously help promote the program, but also kind of share a little bit about how Brian's cell improved and how, you can learn things in running that, you could apply to other aspects of your life and find a lot of success and happiness through that. So
yeah, well, I think, as a runner, we often hear that running is an individual sport, and we just want to thank you, obviously, for writing the book and sharing your story and taking the time to chat with us today, and maybe we can chat closer to the Olympic trials.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Sage.
All right. Have a good one.